Welcome to episode 451 of AI Brief. I'm Amin.
And I'm Leah.
Today we are looking at Anthropic's massive 81,000-person global study on AI sentiment.
We will also break down Cursor's new in-house coding model that is heavily slashing costs near the frontier.
And we are tracking Microsoft's new image model as it climbs the competitive leaderboards.
Finally, we will run through a rapid-fire roundup of today's other AI news and trending productivity tools.
So, to start us off, you know how you constantly see those polls on the evening news?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They ask this really simple question, like, is artificial intelligence going to save the world or destroy it? And you're just supposed to pick a side.
Right. It's completely binary, like thumbs up or thumbs down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The assumption is always that public perception just falls neatly into these two distinct buckets. But when you actually step into the weeds of global sentiment, that simple spreadsheet completely breaks down.
Yeah, it's infinitely more complex than a multiple choice test.
Right. And Anthropic just proved this because they released the largest qualitative AI attitude study ever conducted. They interviewed over 81,000 users across 159 countries.
Wow.
But the wild part is they didn't use human pollsters. They actually built a custom version of their model called Claude Interviewer.
Oh, that's fascinating. So they deployed it to run open-ended conversations.
Yeah, in 70 different languages,
Yeah.
all in just a single week. It's the equivalent of hiring an army of 80,000 highly trained sociologists, flying them all over the world, and running simultaneous focus groups.
Which is logistically impossible for humans to do in 7 days. It would take years and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Exactly.
And, this makes it a massive proof of concept for the tech itself as a qualitative research tool. We're seeing this fundamental shift from just simple text generation to actual scaled insight extraction.
Right. It's acting like a global listening device.
Yeah.
And what it heard was really interesting. People don't just hold one opinion. They hold immense hope and intense fear simultaneously.
Yeah, it's never just one or the other.
Right. When Claude Interviewer dug in, the top global hope was actually professional excellence. People also really emphasized freeing up their time and achieving financial independence.
But having that hope doesn't cancel out the fear. I mean, the fear of the model simply getting things wrong outranked every other concern globally.
Yeah, hallucinations, basically. Right?
Exactly. And that was followed by job anxiety, the fear of losing personal agency, and just the danger of over-reliance. People are optimistic about what they can build, but they're terrified of the foundation crumbling underneath them.
The regional differences really caught my eye, too. Users in India and South America skewed highly positive. But then you look at the US, Europe, Japan, South Korea, they were neutral, or even actively below neutral.
Which makes perfect sense if you look at the economics. The regions leaning into it view it as this unprecedented lever for economic mobility.
Right, a tool to build infrastructure.
Exactly. While highly developed economies, where the infrastructure is already entrenched, they immediately focus on the friction of disruption.
That makes total sense. And speaking of that top global hope, professional excellence, it actually bridges perfectly to our next topic, because developers are actively achieving that excellence right now by completely changing how they access the tech.
Yeah, we have to talk about AnySphere.
Right, the company behind the Cursor code editor. They just shipped Composer 2. And this is their third-generation in-house model. It's suddenly competitive with massive frontier coding models, but at a total fraction of the cost.
The performance data is highly compelling for developers. On the Independent Terminal Bench 2.0 evaluation, Composer 2 scored 61.7%.
Wow.
Yeah, and that actually tops Opus 4.6, which scored 58%. Plus, on their own Cursor bench, sitting within 5 points of GPT 5.4.
Wait, I'm getting stuck on the math here. Like, OpenAI is spending billions of dollars using oceans of compute for GPT 5.4. How is AnySphere, this tiny application layer company, building a model that beats them for pennies? Is Cursor an outlier, or is this the new normal?
It sounds impossible, but it comes down to specialization. AnySphere isn't building a Swiss Army knife, They just built a scalpel.
Okay, I like that.
A generalized frontier model has to write a sonnet, pass a medical exam, and write Python code. Holding all that intelligence is incredibly expensive. But Composer 2 just needs to be exceptionally good at the coding environment inside Cursor.
Oh, so by narrowing the focus, they drop the overhead.
Exactly. And that lack of overhead translates directly to price. On their fast tier, it costs $7.50 per million output tokens. That's roughly 1/10 of GPT 5.4.
It's like for the last year, app companies were forced to drive on a toll road owned by the big model providers. Every prompt paid a toll to OpenAI or Anthropic.
Right, which constantly compresses profit margins. By building an in-house model, Cursor completely changes their unit economics. They stop paying the toll and keep the margin, making the business infinitely more sustainable.
It's fascinating that they want to own their tech stack instead of renting it. Which brings us to Microsoft, because they're doing the exact same thing.
Yes, their AI superintelligence team, led by Mustafa Suleyman, just launched MAI Image 2.
And it aggressively claimed the #5 spot on the Arena.ai leaderboard.
Right, which is their strongest independent release yet. They're only trailing the top-tier Gemini variants and GPT Image 1.5. But the big deal here is the massive 115-point jump in text rendering performance.
Which has historically been the absolute Achilles heel for diffusion models, right? You ask for a neon sign that says open, and it gives you garbled alien letters.
Exactly. Think of a standard diffusion model like a painter who's only seen human text from a mile away. It knows words are squiggly lines, but it doesn't understand spelling. Microsoft essentially gave their painter a semantic dictionary.
So it actually links the meaning of the word to the visual representation.
Yes, making it highly capable of generating posters and infographics where readable text is critical.
They also paired that with major leaps in photorealism. It's free right now for US users in the MAI playground, coming soon to Copilot and Bing. But what's interesting is Suleiman is shifting focus entirely to these frontier models.
Stepping away from the application side.
Yeah. It feels exactly like moving out of a rich roommate's house to prove you can pay your own rent.
Mm.
Like, Microsoft invested billions into OpenAI, but they actively want to step out of that shadow.
They want to own the underlying intellectual property, but they face a staggering uphill battle. Enterprise developers already have deeply established workflows around OpenAI.
Right, the switching costs are so high.
Exactly. For Microsoft to force a migration, their in-house models have to be significantly better, not just comparable.
Let's actually take a breath and slow down for a second. We spend a lot of time on major model releases,
Yeah.
but if we zoom out to a more measured look at the broader industry today, there's a massive volume of rapid-fire structural shifts happening.
That's very true. If we look at the development ecosystems first, Google has rolled out sweeping upgrades to AI Studio. They've transformed it into a full-stack vibe coding application builder.
Right, integrating that new anti-gravity agent.
Exactly. They are including built-in backends and user login systems, allowing users to generate complete web applications from a single conversational interface.
Vibe coding is such a wild concept, just writing software with natural language and vibes. And while Google does that, OpenAI made a huge countermove.
Yes, they acquired the open-source developer startup Astral, folding their entire staff directly into the Codex team.
Just consolidating top-tier engineering talent to dominate AI-assisted software development. But the really fascinating moves are in data acquisition, right?
Definitely. Perplexity just launched a new feature called Health. This allows users to securely connect their wearable devices directly to Perplexity's agentic system, expanding its context window to include real-time biometric data.
And DoorDash is making a parallel move in the physical world. They launched an app called Tasks, actively paying their courier fleet to capture video, environmental data, and everyday conversations on their route.
All specifically to train future AI and robotics systems. And the capital supporting these shifts is unprecedented. Jeff Bezos is reportedly raising a $100 billion fund.
$100 billion.
Yes, explicitly to acquire aerospace, defense, and silicon chip manufacturers for his secretive startup, Project Prometheus.
Complete vertical integration from manufacturing chips to orbital deployment. And finally, Meta rolled out a 24/7 AI support assistant across Facebook and Instagram.
And their advanced enforcement systems are currently intercepting 5,000 sophisticated scam attempts every single day.
Which really highlights the operational scale these models have reached. So let's bring all this down to earth for a minute. If you're listening and want to actually apply this to your own workflow, let's look at today's trending productivity tools.
Yeah, let's say it's Friday night and you want to build a web app this weekend. You'd likely start with Google AI Studio and that anti-gravity agent.
Right, for the full-stack vibe coding. You just described the app in plain English.
But then you hit a wall with some Python bugs and you don't want to pay expensive API costs.
So you switch to Cursor and use Composer too.
Exactly. Near frontier code generation at a fraction of the cost. And for visual assets, FluxGen is gaining massive traction.
Oh, that's the image generator that integrates directly into your coding environment, right? So you don't have to break your code flow.
Right. And for your marketing materials, you pull up Microsoft's MAI Image 2.
Because of the text rendering upgrades. Perfect for promotional posters.
Now, if you were building this with a remote team and you have video call fatigue, Nonillion is trending heavily. It provides immersive spatial meeting spaces.
And as you iterate on the design, you'd use SnapGrid to collect and analyze all your UI screenshots.
And finally, just for fun, GeoCities.live instantly turns any modern website into a nostalgic 1990s .com era page.
I love that. It's amazing how accessible building has become. But looking at the news today, I just can't stop thinking about DoorDash and Perplexity.
The physical data mapping.
Yeah. With DoorDash paying gig workers to continuously map the streets, and a Perplexity securely ingesting live wearable data. The line between digital training environments and our physical reality has completely vanished. The data isn't just old Wikipedia articles anymore. It's streaming from our pulse and our neighborhoods. It really makes you wonder what everyday mundane action of yours is unknowingly serving as the training data for the next massive frontier model.
It completely redefines our relationship with the spaces we move through. We aren't just users anymore. We're the actual environment the models are learning to navigate.
Wow. Well, please follow the deep dive on your favorite app and share this with a friend or colleague who needs a shortcut to staying informed on the absolute cutting edge of this industry.
See you in the next episode.